Hey man, welcome back to Man Time. Ooh, today's the day we get to field test freshly ported chainsaws. Got a little bit of good weather here in the morning. Of course, if you live in Texas, you know you've got a few good hours in the morning to get whatever you need to get done, and then it's 100 degrees by noon, and you know your day is pretty much done at that point. But we've got the Stihl 036 freshly ported. We've got the Wolf with some kinks ironed out. Also, the same thing with the 338 XPT. Let's get to work. Welcome to Man Time. Let's start off by getting our stuff serviced here. Man, I don't know about you, but I love watching YouTube to get tips and tricks from, you know, real men doing real work. It's super beneficial to me to learn from other people and, you know, learn from other people's mistakes and other people's knowledge and advice. And A-Fleet Command is one of those guys who's out here doing it. He has super valuable information and knowledge. And one of the things that he said the other day that just really held on to me was bringing tools into the field that is a known reliable system, right? Something that you have used extensively, have spare parts for, basically know the equipment inside and out, and know that it's going to be reliable throughout the day. So this is actually the opposite of that. This is a test and trial of all of these basically unknown systems. This one has had some amount of field use, but the only time that I really took it out to use it to cut down a tree, it was not a reliable system. So I went through in that Tinkerer video and really went through it and tried to make it a reliable system. But essentially at this point it's still in its break-in phase. So we will see how it does today. You know, one thing I actually, when I built this saw and had this saw going, this Husqvarna chain, I said I didn't like it out of the gate. It has turned out to be one of the best chains now that I've ran. I've sharpened it one time, and these teeth are just razor sticky sharp still. Out of the gate, the rakers were too high, and the teeth were, I don't know, the factory grind just wasn't good. The teeth kind of rolled over and dulled. But now, after putting a fresh sharp on it, it's stayed that way since I've done it, and it's incredibly sharp and incredibly durable, and has very little stretch. So I think it's a C83 Husqvarna chain. Super pleased with it. Next saw that I'm working on, or working with here, is this one. And if you've seen this one running, you've known that it has had problems after problems after problems. And I was this far away from taking it completely apart and redoing the gasket for the clamshell. But it dawned on me what was happening was the primer bulb was pumping air. And I got to thinking, like, man, there's got to be something I missed. And I rebuilt the carb like 3 times thinking, you know, it's carb related. And then I kept digging into like other stuff thinking it's fuel line or something. Double checked everything. Finally went back to the carb and started putting a vacuum test on it in soapy water and blowing through this orifice and blowing through that orifice, making sure my jets were clear and all that stuff. Well, there is a little plug in the front of the carb, one of those little aluminum push plugs. That sucker was leaking, and the kits don't even have that plug in it. So I just JB welded over it, and we'll see. Hopefully it runs good today. Talking about these saws a little bit as we're getting set up here. The one thing, like between the 036 and then the 61, the 036, I think it's as good as it's going to get. Like, it's taken to the maximum of its ability and its capacity. The clutch and the clutch hub and the roller bearing initially is really small. The wrist pin, really small. Again, the bearing there. So I think it is as far as we can take it. Now the 61, on the other hand, I think it's got a big bore kit in it, right? It's got a 52 millimeter, so it's basically a 272. And Husqvarna made the saw so it could handle that much additional power, additional RPMs, additional torque, and all that stuff. So I think if you're looking for one saw to kind of rule them all, I would go with a Husqvarna in that era. The 61 is a great choice. 266, 268, 272, all awesome. All right, let's see what we got on the docket for today. All right, so on the agenda for today is taking out this little row of trees right down here. This is the edge of the house pad going into the hayfield over here, and basically these trees here are stopping me from making this area like flat. It'd be nice to have them here for like shade in the front porch. This is southern exposure, and you know, I may leave those two little bushes. I'm taking the pine trees. Let's do it. Let's see let's see how this thing starts. I've also got some bigger trees back in the woods here I need to take down because the root system is coming up and under the drive. So let's see how this thing cold starts. We're choked. Yep. I think this is a woods port, and if you know what that is, let me know. the big thorn in my side has been this stump right here. It's kind of like right where I'm doing this this driveway. And then I've got another one over here. It's a larger tree, maybe 20 inch. Still thinking about taking that one down. I just don't know yet. Let's get this stump out of the ground and see where we go from here. One more just really nasty root system here behind me. It is 3 trees where the roots have kind of grown together. These are the hardest to get out. So let's push this backhoe, see what it can do. Yeah, I don't know about you, but I think we need a little bit more power. Let's see if we can find some. Look at this thing. I don't know about you, but that's a pretty big stump. And that's what happens when they grow together. I've been dreading this is my third time, I think, trying to get this out of the ground. First 2 times was just with the backhoe. You know, I had a good kind of dig around it, and then I, you know, in building this little road here, filled it back in a little bit, and I've just been dreading it, hoping it would die out a little bit. But some of those runner roots were, you know, this big around, and now, you know, from ground here to up here, I mean, you can see this one. I mean, the thing is got roots 12 inches around. It's just incredible. But I am losing my morning pretty quickly. So that's going to do it for today on Man Time. You like this type of stuff, think about subscribing. If not, do whatever you want. But get out there and have you some man time.